Welcome to Diamond Dreams, the Prasad Kapre Show, presented by Limelight. So today we have some very interesting and a special guest who has been my colleague for a number of years, and we perhaps started our career together in this gems and jewelry industry. Introducing Vaishali Banerjee from Platinum Guild International, Managing Director, India. Welcome, Vaishali.
Hi, Prasad. Lovely to be here on your show.
Thank you so much for being here. Vaishali, we obviously go back many years, and we have been part of this industry. What I really admire about you is the fact that India has always been a gold-loving country. So the challenge you must have faced must have been enormous. Though, of course, over the years, a lot of things have changed. The platinum market is doing so well. So tell me something more about, where do we stand today versus gold?
Yeah. I never use the word versus. It's an and.
Okay, correct.
It is gold and platinum.
Sure.
Because, if you look at the consumer, yes, it's a challenge, but it was a huge opportunity.
Sure.
We were such a young country. We still are.
Absolutely.
And if you look at a young India, they want to experiment.
Absolutely.
Jewelry is close to their heart if we can make it relevant.
Sure.
So I think there's so much opportunity for multiple precious metals, stones, as long as it's a piece of jewelry. Absolutely. I think that's the big difference. And I think that is where platinum has always focused. And I think that's what's created the traction and been relevant to the consumer, because we're all about the consumer. It's a piece of jewelry.
So how would you really profile the platinum user or the platinum consumer?
India is a diverse country. But within that, I would say it's the younger audience.
Sure.
Now, if you look at more than a decade to, 12 years, somebody who's in their mid-20s is already in their mid-30s, 40s. So, but they have been, part of the platinum journey, and then it becomes, one thing we've seen is people who actually buy platinum, wear platinum. It's a very special feeling. And then you buy more platinum, you acquire more. Because, see, platinum is for occasions of significance. Absolutely. And these significance are sometimes, love, it can be self, but it's moments of significance. And they come so many times in our lives.
So do you think that the same consumer actually is buying both gold jewelry as well as platinum jewelry? And it varies by occasion. So maybe, for example, for bridal segment, I don't know if it's popular. I mean, platinum is popular in bridal segment as yet or not. But generally we see, for bridal, you go for the gold jewelry. And maybe for occasions like anniversaries and birth of a child and things like that. Do you think that's what is happening?
I think the consumer will have a wardrobe in terms of jewelry. So yes, that's why I said it's gold and platinum. It's not or, it's not versus.
Right.
Because there is a role for multiple things in the wardrobe.
Absolutely.
So, talking about bridal, yes, of course, there are occasions that are gold. And they will be.
Of course.
If it's a moment of tradition.
Yes, it is.
Or religious.
Yeah.
It will be gold, because gold owns and has that space.
Sure.
But even in a wedding, your engagement, wedding bands, which are all about love.
Absolutely.
And that love and significance is platinum.
In fact, that's very, very interesting that you say that, because recently I had one couple who actually insisted their engagement ring in platinum. And unfortunately at that point in time, I didn't have it in ready, stock. And I had to make one for them, because the guy just insisted, he says, I have time, I'm prepared to wait, but it has to be in platinum. So wonderful.
That's wonderful thing. But yeah, it's known as the metal of love.
Okay.
It is. And it's a beautiful metal to hold a precious stone.
But do consumers actually wear just plain platinum jewelry, or is it generally studded?
Both.
Both, okay.
Both. When in the past, the bands, the what we call platinum love bands.
Right.
It's got love embedded in the name.
That's right.
Which are really your engagement rings, wedding bands, anniversary bands.
So those are not studded. I mean,
They are both.
plain.
They are plain as well as studded. They could be solitaires. They could be, smaller diamonds, pointers. It depends on the design.
Sure.
So there will be plain bands as well for those who prefer. As I said, we looked at consumer in
Right.
rather than what we want to put out there. So if the consumer wants diamonds, and there are, for certain occasions, they want a diamond engagement ring, that's in platinum.
Sure.
Anniversary bands, you may prefer plain bands. So all of it is there.
But when it's studded, is majorly diamonds, right? When instead of any other, mostly.
Mostly. Even in jewelry, women's jewelry is predominantly gem set.
Got it.
Predominantly.
Right.
Though we do find in south of India that we have plain metal jewelry.
Oh, okay.
Also, if you look at it, there is, what we call everyday, part of the Platinum Evara self-purchase offering, which is all chain-based jewelry. It's very young. It's trending globally.
Okay.
And those chain-based jewelry is predominantly plain. So you have a, mix of gem set as well as plain. Men's jewelry, men of platinum, the entire category is predominantly plain. Again, there will be gem set because there
Which is primarily what? Kada and rings? I mean, that's...
bracelets, chains.
Oh, it's proper bracelet?
Yeah.
Not the kada?
Karas as well as bracelets.
Wow.
It's one of the top selling categories. Because men like the feeling of heft on their on their wrist. It's very smart.
Correct.
And platinum's very understated.
Sure. Absolutely. In fact, men do prefer platinum over gold in a way, because you're absolutely right. It's subtle, it doesn't hit your eyes, when you're wearing a kada or a bracelet. I'm sure.
And, and also see what we've done, like we've done for women's jewelry or rings, for men's as well. We brought design front and center. Because you're choosing a piece of platinum jewelry.
Sure.
It's a self-expression. It's in your style sense, quite apart from the fact that you're buying into one of the most precious metals there is. So there is value in every which way.
So when it comes to diamonds, since you said mostly it's all diamond studded, now these days there are lab-grown diamonds which actually talk about being environmental friendly. It talks about sustainability. It talks about carbon neutral.
Right.
So all that when it's happening, do you see any trend? Because even platinum, when you promote, is more about purity, and that's where even the lab-grown diamonds are talking about purity because they are 100% carbon, So it's pure carbon. So that's why the lab-grown CVD diamonds also talk about purity. So do you see any synergy there, and do you see any trends with consumers now happening?
So we haven't seen consumer trend as yet.
Okay.
I think needs to be...
It's early days.
It's very early days.
Right.
But see, for platinum, it's a really precious metal. It's extremely rare.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
It's a noble metal. It's extremely rare. And it's a dense, strong metal. So it is actually the right carrier for any precious stone. Got it. Whether it is diamonds, lab-grown, emeralds, sapphire, whatever,
Okay.
It holds the stone really strong, secure. So if it is an important stone, then platinum just fits it.
Okay.
And then if there's value, like in a real, in say a natural diamond is all about rare, and of course the stories make. So yes, and going forward, depending on what the consumer understands and takes on with lab-grown diamonds and what it stands for in their mind, of course.
I was talking to a few jewelers, and what they feel is with lab-grown, even the young audience, the consumers are actually experimenting with different designs because of its affordability factor. What it means is that, different shapes, different colors, different sizes, they can actually experiment with, which becomes a bit difficult when it comes to mined diamonds,
Exactly.
And that being the difference, do you think that, when it comes to some modern designs, and that's where you see these trends emerging?
I would say so. Because, in that sense, in the fashion jewelry category, where you can experiment and you should experiment with design, where you're buying the piece of jewelry to wear.
Absolutely.
Right? And
it is for adornment and not for your pockets. Absolutely true.
So yes, I would say that. Okay. What we've seen with platinum also is that self-purchase, self-purchase is one of our largest categories, that people do expect. Again, if you're talking to the young audience, young consumers today, they have access. They have global access.
Sure.
So what they really want is design forward. They want meaning.
Right.
So even with pieces that are fashion, typically, because, you're wearing it, you're changing it, it's about, outfitting it.
Yeah.
They buy into the story, into preciousness, into quality.
Okay.
So I think that quality factor is good. So I'm sure even in...
So would you say that the youngsters of today are going more towards platinum?
Yes.
And that's the audience? And
absolutely. That's been our core audience from the get-go.
Okay.
Because we looked at young India and
Sure.
we said a couple of things. One is that as a metal, it would appeal by the look of the metal.
Sure.
Its absolute preciousness is something, and we know that young people today, they would find out about things. Authenticity is important. Rarity was important. Factors that support their purchase decisions.
Right.
Is the quality of the metal. And design, since design was so important and adornment became so high in terms of the reasons to buy jewelry, with platinum you can do that.
Absolutely. So for today's young generation and, maybe between 21 to 35, if that's the way, if I define the young, what do you think is really important for them when they go out to buy jewelry?
So I think, what we've learned over the years is that there are multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
Quality, emotions, storytelling, design, all of it is important. So if I, for a minute, talk about the quality aspect of it. What defines quality? Now, purity has been something that has always been very, very important in India right through time.
Sure.
As a purity standard, whether it was gold, 22 carat, etc. So in platinum, we came in therefore with 95% pure. Because as a metal,
Sure.
even with gem set, you don't have to give up on purity. What we've seen with the young audience...
So it's more purer than gold, because normally in 22 carat, which is 91.6%,
Yes.
yours is 95%.
95%.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to take away purity if you gem set.
Absolutely.
Because of the quality of the metal, because it's stronger. Now, what we've seen is that purity is very important for the young audience as well. Because today, purity also talks about authenticity in their world.
Right.
Today, authenticity has become a very important value.
Okay.
And authenticity, traceability, the package of it.
Right.
And also in the stories you tell, everything needs to be authentic. Metal has to be authentic. The jewelry needs to be authentic.
Sure.
So authenticity, purity, all of this, traceability, all of this is important.
Sustainability? I mean, do you think that's now today's youth is getting more conscious about it?
Absolutely. We are seeing that and I see that as a future trend as well.
Okay.
Where sustainability, ethical practices will be part of authenticity and transparency, delivering that one has to provide to the consumer.
So perhaps, from coming back to my diamonds,
Yes.
I feel that, that's where the CVD or the lab-grown diamonds actually gel well.
Right.
Purely because CVDs are 100% pure carbon, and that's why they get Type 2A certification. And also they are sustainable and environmental friendly, because most of the growers today are using solar power. So to that extent, so maybe, that's where...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. So most of them have started using solar power, and that's where they can claim that they're environmental friendly and, they have maybe zero carbon footprints, So they're moving towards that. So I think that's where it gels well with the platinum as a metal. And hopefully we'll see a lot of trends coming in with platinum and lab-grown diamonds.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The thing is, we have to be alive to many, many trends and different things which can enrich the jewelry experience.
True. And I like it when you say it's not versus, it's always another choice given to the consumers. It's their choice, let them decide,
To my mind, consumers know what they want.
Sure.
We just help them along that journey by providing them with multiple choices and enough authentic information for them to make that choice.
Yeah, the transparency, because that's the vital
That's what
part.
we do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it will be their choice, but they will have a bouquet to choose from with the right information behind it. I think that is something that all of us need to do, is provide absolute authenticity in terms of information, which will help the decision making.
Great. Perfect. So is there any message that you want to give it out to the young audience that we have for these diamonds?
Yes, of course. Because I would say diamond dreams come alive in platinum.
Love it. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Vaishali, for coming over. And in future too, I'm going to be, interviewing you again, because there are lots of interesting thoughts which actually you provoked me already. And I think we'll do this again in one of our next.
And I wish you all success, and I look forward to it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.